Hi, I'm Jerry James Stone. In today's video, well, my friend Jason Barrows is going to show you how to make some amazing desserts. Instead of me telling you what it is, I'm going to let him do it.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason Barrows, and today we're going to make a classic pound cake. So let's go ahead and start baking. All right, so we're going to start making our classic pound cake. Take our butter, slightly chilled, and put that into the mixer. Butter is cut into tablespoon sizes. And then we're going to start this up and mix for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's very creamy and shiny. All right, we're going to turn our mixer on medium for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now that our butter has been mixing for about 2 or 3 minutes, we want to make sure that we scrape down the sides of the bowl. Any of the butter that's accumulated up at the top, we want to make sure that's down on the bottom. So we'll just tilt our mixer up here. And then our next step is the sugar. And we're going to add that in very slowly while we're running the mixer for about another 2 minutes. And we're going to do it slowly so that it takes about a minute for the sugar to actually be incorporated into the mix. So here we go. Okay, now that our sugar has been incorporated, we do want to scrape down the sides of the bowl again. Okay, now that we've scraped down our bowl, we're going to then let this go for about another 5 to 8 minutes until it's almost white and very creamy. So here we go again. All right, now our next step, we're going to add our vanilla to our eggs and our egg yolks, and we're going to whip those together until they're uniform in color. Here we go. All right, we've finished whisking our egg yolks and vanilla, and now we're going to slowly pour this into the bowl. It should take about a minute, so you want to do it nice and slow. Now that we've incorporated our egg yolks into the batter, we are going to run this for another 3 minutes. All right, we're all finished. So one of the reasons why we're taking so many steps in this pound cake is to make sure that we have a really nice domed pound cake. Sometimes they can be kind of flat, and by doing these little extra steps, watching the temperature of your butter and really making sure that there's air incorporated into your batter will make structure and will really make sure that we get a nice, high, large, classic pound cake. All right, after we scrape down our paddle, we're going to add our cake flour by hand. We're not going to use the mixer. We want to be really delicate with all the structure that we've already made inside this batter, and we don't want to beat that down. So we're going to take the bowl off of the mixer here. So now we're going to put our cake flour in 3 additions into the batter. This is sifted, so we can make sure that we don't have any lumps. So we're going to just take 1/3 of this in and lightly fold it in with a rubber spatula, making sure that we scrape all the way down to the bottom so that we have no dry pockets of flour. Okay, and then we're going to add our second third here. And our last third. All right, now we're done mixing, and I'm going to pour my batter into a prepared pan. I like to use parchment paper, and I use these metal binder clips to keep the paper sort of just stationary so it doesn't come fly back and stick back onto the cake. Alternatively, you can butter your pan and dust that with flour, and then just make sure you bang out the extra flour just so you don't have any pockets of flour on the pan. And here we go. I'm going to pour into the pan here. Nice and creamy. Okay, we've got all our batter out of the bowl, and now we're going to smooth the top of our batter with our spatula just so we have a nice even layer. So next up is we're ready for the oven. We want to put this into a preheated 325-degree oven, and we'll put that in there for 70 to 80 minutes. So low and slow for this one. And here we go. All right, now we've pulled our loaf from the oven, and we want this to cool on a wire rack for about 15 minutes, just so it's got enough time to cool there. And then once we do that, we will take that out and put that on the wire rack for about 2 hours to come to room temperature. So I'm gonna take my little clips off here so we can access and pull out the parchment paper. And this is why I like to use parchment, because I've made myself a little sling for this. Just grab the parchment, lift that on up and down onto your cooling rack for about 2 hours to come to room temperature, and then enjoy. All right, so that's how you make a classic pound cake. Thanks for watching. Different things that you can do with the pound cake is you can slice and toast it and serve it with fruit and whipped cream, or you can try some Nutella and some bananas. You can pretty much do anything you want with it. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to take a nice big bite. Thank you.